Hey there guys, so I guess my hiatus may not have been as long as I thought, or maybe it was depending on when I actually finished this video, but I just got myself thinking about how so far I've been exactly correct about when I believe GTA 6 will come out. So I figure if I can accurately predict this game's true release date, then maybe I can also predict some of the new and returning features this long awaited title will have. Let's face it, we've all had plenty of time to think about what's going to be in GTA 6. We all expect the map to be so large that it'll take 12 real-world hours to travel across it via supercar. I think we all want things like enterable interiors to return, and I'm sure we're all hoping that after almost 20 years, we finally get the even more long-awaited sequel to QUB 3D. Well, I know I've at least been thinking about stuff like this for a long time, and after considering what could realistically be included in the game, I've come up with my own personal wish list of features that I'd like to see. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about are things that have been included in past Rockstar games, mainly being previous GTA games, because as is typical with their titles, Rockstar loves to take things that work from one of their games and re-implement it in their following games. One example of this is how they pretty much ripped the same aiming system from GTA 4 and put it into Red Dead Redemption 1, but in turn, they took the weapon wheel that they implemented into Red Dead and added it into the Grand Theft Auto franchise in GTA 5. They haven't just done this in the HD era though, because if we go back to the PS2 times, we can see that the Warriors and Bully have similarly styled health bars, and the same goes for San Andreas and Manhunt. Additionally, sometimes Rockstar will even go back to that generation to find what worked better back then, which is what they did when they took the weapon buying system from Vice City and modernized it in GTA 5. Simply put, if you want a glimpse into Rockstar's future, sometimes you need to look at their past. So for the most part, that's what I'll be doing today. Oh, and one more thing before we continue, I know that GTA 6 had those leaks a few years ago that revealed a lot of what we can expect to see, but to be honest, I didn't look at more than like 5 minutes of that footage because I really didn't want to spoil it for myself. Additionally, at the time of recording, Rockstar has not yet released Trailer 3, and even if they do by the time that I finish this video, to be honest, I have such little time to work on this that I'm not going back and changing things. So keep all of that in mind if I talk about something that's either already been shown or is flat out contradicted by those leaks or that trailer. Anyway, without further ado, let's go over my GTA 6 wish list. As I've covered in plenty of my past retrospective videos talking about the Grand Theft Auto series, there are several important factors that go into making these games as great as they are, but in my opinion, one of the most significant factors is its mechanics. After all, if the game doesn't feel fun on a fundamental level, it's going to be hard to push through. I'll give you a first-hand example of this. When I played Watch Dogs for the first time a few years ago, I thought it was really cool and fun until I got to the part where you get to drive, at which point I was immediately turned off from it to such a degree that I just haven't been able to come back since. Maybe one day I'll give it another shot though. Now, I don't fear at all that GTA 6 will have this sort of problem, but I'd still like to address a few mechanics I wouldn't mind having in the game. First off, let's set our focus on combat, specifically aiming. Now, GTA 5's aiming isn't exactly terrible, but it is really easy. Just pull the left trigger, push the joystick up for a sec, and push the right trigger to get a headshot. I can appreciate how simple this is and how powerful it can make you feel during shootouts, but I personally prefer the slightly more resistance aiming of GTA 4 that pulls your reticle to the center of your target's body and forces you to more precisely move your joystick to the place you want to shoot, whether it's the head for an insta-kill, the leg to knock them down, or even the hand to disarm them. Additionally, one other thing that I liked about GTA 4's aiming is that your reticle showed you how much health your enemy has. This isn't super necessary since everybody else's health is usually minuscule compared to yours, but it was still a nice feature that I'd like to see come back in some way. I was thinking it would even be cool to sort of integrate the health bar style from Bully into this by having a colorful ring surround your crosshair that drains and changes color based on the remaining health. Now, aiming away from aiming, let's move on to moving. Let's face it, GTA 5's movement is horrendous and incredibly unresponsive. When you want to turn, your character usually has to take the time to go through a whole animation to turn. If you want to run, it feels like it takes him forever to start. This isn't necessarily game breaking or anything, and it usually won't hamper you as you play through a mission, but it just feels so damn sluggish. And if you're doing something on your own that requires precise movement, then moving like this can be a real pain in the ass. GTA 4 isn't wasn't exactly a saint in this row either, so we're gonna ignore Nico for this one and take a look at Arthur in Red Dead, whose movements react to the player's inputs on a dime. Is this more arcadey than realistic? Sure, but it's a whole lot more fun to just walk around, so I'm perfectly fine with it. As a matter of fact, as far as Red Dead's movement is concerned, I love that this game brought back crouching, and I really fucking hope it sticks around for GTA 6 because this stealthing shit has always been so dumb. And while we're at it, let's keep RDR2's diving over GTA's rolling, because between 4 and 5's different roll animations, I'm just not convinced there's a good balance to find between making it look nice and making it practical, versus the aforementioned diving that does a pretty good job at both. Sticking with Red Dead 2 for a minute, can we please keep its melee style? Or better yet, can we get some sort of mix of it with GTA 4's hand-to-hand combat? GTA 5's melee is so mind-numbingly boring since all you need to do is spam B to win every fight ever. Sure, it's maybe a little challenging at the start of the game since it takes a minute to win, but after you've maxed out your strength following your 6th or 7th fight, you'll be delivering KO punches like you're the Big Show with infinite finishers. At least GTA 4's melee combat was a bit more balanced since it usually took a good 10 or 20 seconds to finish a guy off. Maybe even a bit faster if you hit one of Nico's sick-ass Serbian jutsu reversals. And fighting multiple guys at once could actually be a challenge, but it was also really cool how you could switch things up with some alternate punches or even kicks. Kicks that don't do shit for damage since bowhand cats are built with balls of steel, but I digress. Also, it was just really funny pissing people off by pushing them for no reason. Meanwhile, in Red Dead 2, we got somewhat of a return to form with the more skill-based melee combat since these dudes from 1899 actually knew how to put up a fight. And they knew how to use their strength in numbers effectively if you found yourself 3 against 1. If we could somehow get the best of both of these worlds in GTA 6, I for one will be a happy camper. Alright, this is the last thing I'll talk about regarding Red Dead for a minute, but I would love it if they retained the current version of the weapon wheel for GTA 6. The wheel in 5 is great, and you could argue it provided a rather innovative way to let the player keep every gun they picked up rather than having to pick one from each class. But the downside to having this freedom is it limits your resourcefulness. See, if I have access to every gun in the game at any given time, then I'm always fully prepared for every situation. That's a great problem to have in real life, but in a video game, it's kind of boring because you never have to force yourself to adapt. I guess this point mainly applies to special classes of weapons like throwables or explosives, since there's not much of a difference between picking which specific AR you want. But my other point here is that having this many guns to cycle through until you find the one you're looking for is overwhelming, which can be further evidenced by Rockstar's inclusion of the gun locker in GTA Online that lets you limit your own arsenal for the sake of convenience. I really like Red Dead's solution to this problem though, which was to give you full access to all of your weapons while riding your horse, but when you're away from it, all you have are the select few weapons on your back. If GTA 6 were to implement a similar system, be it by forcing you to leave the bulk of your weapons in your personal vehicle, or by making you leave them at a gun locker at your safe house, I think that'd be a positive. Although, I do recognize that the GTA protagonist carrying enough weaponry to take over a small country is a funny trope that maybe we shouldn't be forced to abandon. So if we could at least just have the option to offload the guns we don't want back at home, that would be good enough for me. Oh, and also, before I forget, since Red Dead showed us that we can use the weapon wheel for consumables as well, let's use it for our P's and Q's and ego chasers too, because doing this via the interaction menu has always been so awful. Anyway, let's move on from Red Dead already, because it's time to talk about driving systems. Right, let's be honest. To talk shit about GTA 5's driving is to beat a dead horse, and I already said we're done with Red Dead for a minute, but I still have to at least bring up how many vocal members of this community have criticized this system for how mind-numbingly easy it is. That being said, I personally believe it gets a bad rap because I honestly enjoy GTA 5's driving for its simplicity and responsiveness. But I won't deny that it does get pretty boring when driving long-ass distances without any real challenge. On the other side of the coin, we have GTA 4's more sluggish and punishing driving system that forces you to take it slower, which is something that I'm sure the TikTok generation isn't very keen on, but if you can master this variation, it can become very fun, rewarding, and even addicting to cruise up and down the streets of Liberty City. Honestly, comparing these two games' driving is like comparing apples to oranges with how different their systems are, as well as how varied their situationalness is, since even the maps are designed so differently to accommodate their respective styles. That all being said, I hope that when GTA 6 comes out, we get something down the middle that combines the challenge of GTA 4's driving with the thrill and speed of GTA 5's. That's my perfect world scenario at least, but we'll see what we actually get when the time comes. Oh, and on the topic of driving, can we finally bring bike meleeing into a base GTA game? This concept was introduced into Lost and Damned, but only for motorcycle races, and it was later revived in GTA Online during the Bikers update, but it was never brought into single player. Look, I don't care if it doesn't make much sense for Jason or Lucia to swing a baseball bat at passing cars while riding a crotch rocket. It's just a fun feature that I believe we should be allowed to fuck around with. Is that such a crime? Well, I guess it's technically some form of assault or battery or some shit, but still. Alright, I've been going through these for, I'm gonna say like 10 minutes now, so let's just start speedrunning a little bit. First off, let's bring back the circular minimap. The square one in GTA 5 was cool and unique and all, but I very much prefer the circular map we've had in every other game. And if Red Dead 2 is anything to go by, then I think I'll be happy with what we get in GTA 6. But you know what would make me even happier is if we splashed some freaking color back into the damn thing. GTA 4 revived the concept of the less vibrant maps that we had back in GTA 3 and Liberty City Stories. But as Vice City Stories, and San Andreas showed, a colorful map is so much more pleasing on the eyes. Hell, even GTA 5 had a colorful map on its original 360 and PS3 versions, but when it moved to the next generation, Rockstar switched it to a black and white palette. And while it did look cool and mature at first, I seriously wish that the color would have been expanded and enhanced when we got to this current generation. Look, black and white is fine for the bustling concrete jungle of Liberty City, but maps with forests and beaches like San Andreas should be capable of showing such assets. So I really hope that Vice City gets that opportunity when we return to it. Right, I got a bit hung up on the maps there for a second, but let's move on to something else that's bugged me for years. And that's that when I switch characters in GTA 5, there's a good chance that whatever outfit I spent a while putting together is gonna be lost. For example, if I'm playing as Franklin and I really take the time to customize him to look pretty cool, then I switch to Michael and play a few missions. When I switch back to Franklin, he's most likely gonna be wearing something completely different. And now I'll have to go all the way back to my safe house to change his clothes back. Is it a cool detail that your characters wear different things after you haven't played as them for a while? Sure, but this also just discourages me from ever customizing them at all since it's not gonna stick anyway. Now, we don't need this feature to be erased or anything, but if we either had the option to disable it, or better yet, if we could just save outfits like you can in GTA Online, that would be enough of a solution for me to be happy. Another re-inclusion I'd be down for is just the allowance to use your creativity to pass a mission. Again, this is something that GTA 5 has a bad rap for with its stereotype that it fails you for deviating off the scripted path. But back in the 3D era, no such restrictions really existed, and you could complete your objective however you saw fit so long as you got it done in the end. Even in the HD era, GTA 4 has several missions that encourage you to complete them in unique ways, and even when it's less obvious, the game can still reward you for finding an alternate path. Like in the mission Call and Collect, where you can drown the target to not only get a rare phone call, but you can also skip the subsequent escape from the cops as well as the drop-off objective. One other thing I hope has changed is how explosions insta-kill you no matter what in GTA 5. In the previous Grand Theft Autos, the only reasons an explosion would actually kill you were if you were in a car as it blew up, if you were low on health, or if you were just standing right next to it. But in GTA 5, it doesn't matter how close you are to the center of the explosion, because as long as you're within the blast radius at all, it'll always kill you, with rare exceptions. Something I loved about GTA 4 was getting blasted away by an explosion and landing halfway down the block with just a smidge of health. But because of GTA 5's lazier programming in this regard, this isn't possible, so I hope it becomes possible again in 6. Now, as for the last thing I'll talk about in this section, something else I want Rockstar to get rid of is health regeneration. Part of the thrill in past games was the gradual progression through each level with enough carefulness to avoid taking unnecessary damage. But if you did run low on health at some point, you might get lucky and find a godsend in the form of a health or armor pickup. GTA 5 contrasts this, however, as you usually don't even get the chance to have this experience because if you get too hurt, you can always just take cover for a second while your health regens up to half, thus removing any real consequence of taking damage. Personally, I don't find this very fun, and I hope that we get a reversion back to the days of old in this regard when GTA 6 comes out. Anyway, that's about everything that I classify as a mechanic that I wish to see come back, change, or be included in the new game this year. So let's go ahead and move on to some of the features I'd like to see too. Now that we've gone through the fundamental changes and inclusions that I believe GTA 6 should have, or at the very least, what I would like to see in that regard, since I don't have the experience to know what's possible and reasonable on that side of things, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other cool, nice-to-have features that probably wouldn't require any real changes to the groundwork. First off, something I'd like to see again after all these years is a proper re-edition of the RPG elements that San Andreas had back in the day. One of these elements I'd like to see has to do with the hunger system, where you'd lose health after not eating for so long, which would give you a good reason to go to restaurants. restaurants again. Additionally, just having stats like stamina, muscle, fat, and weapon skill would make playing through the game feel like actual progression, since your character would be physically improving over time. Or it could also force you to stay on top of your game, else face regression, since I'd like for your stats to be able to come back down if they're ignored. This is an issue that I still have with GTA 5 since, like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the melee fighting, your character just becomes overpowered so quickly without you even really trying. But to force you to maintain your stats by going to the gym, going to the gun range, going out to eat, etc., it would not only give you a strong reason to visit these sites and partake in their mini-games, but I think it would just be fun in general. And speaking of going to these locations, please Rockstar, for the love of God, just give us more buildings to enter. I still hate that I can't go inside of Burger Shot and Cluckenbells in GTA 5, and it pisses me off even more that we literally have a muscle beach that you can't even interact with. So please, I'm begging you, let us go back into these buildings in GTA 6 and give us more buildings in general to enter like GTA 4. I realize that could be asking a lot given how large Leonida is likely to be, as well as how the only reason Liberty City had so much depth to begin with was because of how small it was. But after working on this game for as long as they have, I don't think it's a huge pipe dream to believe we might actually get the best of both worlds this time around. What might be a pipe dream though is the inclusion of some sort of morality system. Right, I know this is just a thing in Red Dead games, but considering how Grand Theft Auto has a tendency to portray its protagonists as good people trapped in a bad profession, especially with its good deeds that you can perform in GTA 5, I don't think this is too far-fetched of an idea. And this system doesn't need to be based around honor exactly. Maybe it could be some sort of notoriety or reputation, or even an honor amongst thieves. I don't know exactly what you'd want to call it, but I just think it would be nice to have something to reward you better for doing good deeds. Or maybe not, since it is Grand Theft Auto, you know, a game where the player is expected to just go on violent rampages, but whatever. Regardless, whether we have this system or not, it would be cool to also include the ability to converse with strangers. Now, I don't mean like how you can say a few things that always escalate into insulting NPCs like GTA 5, but rather a feature that would actually let you respond positively or negatively like in San Andreas, or would let you choose your tone with which to speak to strangers in Red Dead 2. Staying on the topic of interacting with NPCs, what if there was some sort of gang reputation system in the game? Something that changes how gangs feel about you based on actions that you take that affect them. I believe GTA 2's story was pretty much centered around this idea, but I mainly know it from Bully and how the missions you completed would change your relationships with each faction. I'm sorry if this sounds like one of those GTA 5 sucks videos at this point, but you want to know something else that grinds my gears about this game? How you're locked into only having one single personal vehicle for each character. Yes, you can steal other cars and even buy new cars too, but there's no way to swap out the personal vehicle that always spawns by you for something better. And I understand that the idea of having a personal vehicle like this was a new concept when the game first came out, but that's exactly why I want to see this concept be improved upon in the next game. GTA Online already had the right idea by letting you swap out your old car for the new, faster one you just bought. And Red Dead 2 provided a solid proof of concept for changing your main horse by taking your saddle off your old one and moving it to your new one. So maybe GTA 6 could do the same by letting you move your gun bag from one car to another or something along those lines. I don't care how they do it, I just like the ability to upgrade to a better car without having to worry about losing it. Something else I'd like to see in GTA 6 is just more customization. I'm sure this one's just a given honestly, but just in case, I still want to talk about how nice it would be to have more options for clothing, more hairstyles, and more tattoo designs available to choose from. GTA 4 had a pitiful amount of customization in, well, every regard, while GTA 5 surely improved on its selection, but it still didn't quite touch the level of options that San Andreas had to choose from, with 6 different clothing stores, all stocked with completely different options, as well as various tattoo parlors and barbershops throughout the state that each had their own distinct selections available to them. If GTA 6 could somehow find a way to finally top that, it would be quite the feat. Sticking with the 3D era for a second though, remember when you could actually buy different safe houses throughout each map back then? I understand why GTA's 4 and 5 didn't really let you do this, since it's clear that Rockstar wanted there to be a narrative reason behind each safe house. And I also understand that the original reason for even having safe houses, being to save your game at them, is outdated at this point. But I'd still like the option to be able to buy them myself. For one, it gives you a good excuse to spend all that money that you'll inevitably have lying around, and it would also give you additional places to store cars, as well as to change your clothes if Rockstar decides against fixing the problems I've already talked about before, because let's just be fucking real, right? At the very least, I feel like we should be able to buy one safe house in each city, especially because I honestly still prefer to go back to my safe house to save my game like the gentleman I am. And also, while we're on the topic of buying properties, can we please make purchasing businesses meaningful again? Like, let's be real, if you buy a property in GTA 5, it takes ages and ages and ages to ever see a return on investment. It's cool that some of them unlock certain additional missions for you, but that's not enough of an incentive for me to spend my oodles of money on this shitty smoke shop that I'll have to play for like 2 real-world years just to see that money ever come back to me. Vice City seemed to have a pretty good balance of properties being expensive having fun missions for them, and then earning enough money back to make the process worthwhile. And Vice City Stories had a fun empire building system as well. So if Rockstar could implement something similar to one of these games' take on this when we make our return to Vice City, then I might consider this problem solved. Switching back to safe houses for a minute, you know what else would be really cool? If we could interact with NPCs while we're hanging out there. Something I always felt was missing out of these games in the past was the ability to ever see our characters' friends outside of missions involving them. Like the end of San Andreas shows CJ sitting down with his family, Caesar, Kendall, and Sweet, as well as a few other friends, but it's always bothered me that after this cutscene, we never get to see them again. GTA 4 remedied this by letting us hang out with friends by calling them up to do activities with them, and GTA 5 took it a step further by letting you see certain NPCs around each of our houses, but you still couldn't exactly interact with any of them apart from being able to say hello. At least The Lost and Damned implemented a couple of minigames to play against your nameless clubmates, but while this made the safe house feel less empty, it didn't quite hit the itch I'm trying to scratch, since these were just a bunch of nameless bikers who were gonna end up on my memorial wall by the end of the day. The game that finally got it right though was once again Red Dead 2, since it allowed you to have fun conversations with a group who you considered family. Additionally, there are frequent encounters involving other members of the gang that you could not only listen in on, but could sometimes be included in if they noticed you lurking around. Lastly, I also just love how you can play a select few games like dominoes and poker with the gang. It all just helped me immerse myself even further into this incredibly detailed world, and I would love it if GTA 6 included something similar where maybe you could interact with the inactive protagonist at the house, as well as maybe some of the other NPCs who could be hanging out for some other narrative reason at a particular part of the story. But in addition to hanging out with friends at the house, I'd like there to be more of a reason to hang out with friends in public again. In GTA 4, I almost always found myself going out of my way to see the friends I've made so far in the story, but in GTA 5, this just feels like such a rarity. Maybe it's because friends in GTA 4 call me pretty often asking to hang out, or maybe it's because playing as 3 different characters in GTA 5 makes me less invested in each individual's relationships. But honestly, I think a big part of it could be because there's no bonuses attached to hanging out with anyone in 5. Back in Nico's story, hanging out with a particular friend enough could unlock a specific feature from them, like calling in backup from Dwayne or accessing Little Jacob's gun van, but no such bonuses exist for spending time with our friends in GTA 5. So maybe that's why I don't ever do it. Or another reason could be because of the lack of things to do, so maybe if GTA 6 revived some old activities like going bowling, playing air hockey, or going to the casino, then I might find myself spending more time building Jason and Lucia's friendships than I would otherwise. Additionally, I feel we should unretire some of the submissions that we saw back in the 3D era, like Vigilante, Firefighter, and Paramedic. Am I starting to ask for a bit too much here? Well, possibly, but all I'm saying is that GTA 4 provided a pretty solid modern iteration of Vigilante, so I don't think it's too far-fetched to see this mode come back at least, nor do I think it's impossible to see the others get modern updates in the new game either. Also, one last minigame I want to see return is the QUB 3D arcade game, because this shit was so goddamn fun in GTA 4, and I was so fucking pissed when it didn't return in 5, despite the machines existing in the world just to taunt me. If Rockstar wants to add any other arcade games into GTA 6 as well, that's fine too, but at the very least, I need this one back because it's just so addictingly fun. Or you know what, fuck it, scrap GTA 6 altogether, don't even release the game. Rockstar just dropped QUB 3D as a mobile game with ads, and I will be so freaking satisfied. Alright, but assuming that you do still want to release GTA 6, let's just go over these last couple of things that I want to talk about in this section, which are pretty small in the grand scheme of things, so we're gonna go over them real quickly. First of all, I want cheat codes back. And I don't mean stuff like raise wanted level, or spawn dirt bike, or be invincible for fucking 5 minutes. I'm talking about that good shit that we had in the 3D era, like flying cars, driving on the water, chaos mode, recruiting any pedestrian to your gang, and of course, spawning a tank. Granted, the Ballad of Gay Tony did have its fair share of fun cheats to use, and GTA 5 does have a few good ones too, but just the combined number of cheat codes in both games is minuscule compared to the pages and pages of them we used to have to print off for San Andreas back in the day, and I would love it if GTA 6 brought that ridiculousness back to the series. Next, I really need V-Rock to return, and I really need it to actually rock. Back when we were all awaiting the release of GTA 5, I was excited to see the world's greatest radio station, Radio X, make its grand return with the many great rock songs that had come out in the past few years. I was ready to hear the likes of Riot by 3 Days Grace, I Will Not Bow by Breaking Benjamin, Fine Again by Seether, The Sound of Madness by Shinedown, or anything else in that scene while I cruise through the streets of Los Santos. But instead, when I turned on Channel X for the first time, I was disappointed to hear nothing but that shitty California indie rock that I've come to appreciate since, but just couldn't enjoy back then. I truly hope that Rockstar doesn't make the same mistake and actually gives me the rock music that I, and I believe many others, want to actually hear. Please just give me my 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin, and while you're at it, bring in some Bad Omens, Motionless in White, and fuck it, even Poppy 2. Or if that's still not happening, then you know what would be a great alternative? Some good old-fashioned third-party app integration. I'm talking Spotify, I'm talking Apple Music, I'm talking YouTube Music, and I'm talking whatever the hell else you have a playlist on. Give us the opportunity to stream our music directly into the game and add some classic Rockstar commercials in between our songs too. You know, kind of like how the user track player has always worked. This might be a bit controversial, but give us an AI DJ who can read the name of your song and its band in that cool radio voice before it starts playing. In the year 2026, I feel this should be possible on a technical standpoint, but the only issue I could actually see arising out of this would have to do with licensing, which is a legitimate problem that I won't pretend doesn't exist. However, when your company is producing quite possibly the most popular piece of media in the history of the world, and while you're allegedly underpaying your employees to do it, I like your odds of convincing the record labels to let you use their songs in your game without a huge fuss. Anyway, that's about all that I can think to come up with regarding features that I'd like to see be added into GTA 6. But I do have one last miscellaneous category of things that I'd like to give a mention to, so bear with me through this last brief chapter of the video. So far in this video, I've gone over various fundamental mechanics that I want to have in the newest entry in the Grand Theft Auto franchise, as well as numerous features that I'd like to see. But there's still a few other things that I want to go over too, so let's get right to it. First things first, this is something that Rockstar Games did with GTA 5 as well as Red Dead 2, so I hope it's something that we see again in GTA 6. I am, of course, talking about the brief delay of our new iteration of GTA Online. Hey, put your damn pitchforks down and just hear me out for a minute. When I found out that Online was going to be delayed in GTA 5, I was a bit disappointed at first since I knew that I'd have to wait to finally fuck around with my friends in this new world. But after I thought about it, I was actually quite relieved. That's because since nobody would be able to play online yet, there was no pressure to speedrun through this brand new story and experience it as fast as possible, nor was there any fear of spoiling things for myself by skipping the story to play online instead. By delaying online, I got to actually take my time with things and experience GTA 5's thrilling story mode at a comfortable pace. Then when Red Dead had its online delay, I felt I was given that same chance to not have to feel rushed to play what I consider the greatest story Rockstar has ever told. And as I slowly progressed through it, I was able to really enjoy my discovering of each new portion of the map as it was slowly unveiled to me. I still fondly remember watching Dutch and Arthur arrive in Saint Denis, and I just felt amazed to see this industrialized town that should have no place in a Wild West setting be revealed to me in such a realistic way. And that's a feeling I wouldn't have gotten to have if the experience of this town were spoiled for me by playing through the online first. For reasons such as these, I seriously hope that GTA 6's online mode gets delayed by at least a couple of weeks so we can all uncover the various locations that Leonida has to offer at the pace Rockstar intends for us to take. But when the online mode does come out, it needs to have crossplay already. Up until 2018, the idea of Xbox gamers, PlayStation gamers, and PC gamers playing the same game together on the same server was such an unthinkable concept to the vast majority of us who didn't play Final Fantasy in the early 2000s. But once it became a true reality thanks to Fortnite, GTA 5 immediately felt so outdated since we were all still locked to only playing with the people on the same hardware as us. I had hoped that we might at least get console crossplay between the Xbox Series and the PS5 with the expanded and enhanced edition, but when it still didn't happen then, it showed even more of GTA 5's age. So now that we're going to be 8 years removed from the crossplay revolution by the time that GTA 6 comes out, I think we can all agree that the series needs to have this feature already. Don't get it twisted though, I'm not advocating for crossplay between PC and console since that's a whole other can of worms that I don't expect Rockstar to open. But to leave console players to be stuck playing with only those on their same platform is quite frankly archaic in this day and age. So I'm praying that Rockstar modernizes in this regard. Do I really think they will? Probably not, unfortunately, but it's just nice to dream. Now then, last of all the things I want to talk about today, it's time to bring up Project Americas. If you've paid attention to the rumors and speculations about GTA 6 over the past half decade or so, you'll likely have heard this codename before, and it correlates to Rockstar's supposed plan to incorporate much more than just one state into a GTA game. Based on my research, the rumor was it had something to do with Rockstar wanting to have North and South American locations in GTA 6, which, in my opinion, this idea was merely the foundation of the Cayo Perico heist in GTA Online. But plenty of people speculated back in the day that this codename had to do with Rockstar's plan to include the entirety of the United States within the world of GTA 6. I also want to mention that I swear I used to hear that same codename before GTA 5 was announced, and I remember having friends talk about how we were supposed supposed to get the whole US in that game instead, but I can't find any evidence of this. So do me a favor and let me know in the comments if you recall such a thing from back then too, because you know what, it could be some sort of Mandela effect. Nevertheless, while it's entirely unrealistic at this point to even hope that Rockstar will include the whole country in the new game at launch, what if, and this is a massive what if, but what if we got other parts of the country over time? Just what if sometime next year, Rockstar releases an update or a DLC or whatever to integrate GTA 5's map into GTA 6? And what if we were able to get not just GTA 4's Liberty City, but an entire Liberty State as well? I recall that when the Liberty City Preservation Project spread like wildfire last year, it came to light that at one point, Rockstar had planned to port Liberty City into GTA 5's world, so the idea of bringing a past world into the current game isn't entirely out of the question. With that in mind, maybe one day we'll be able to play on all 3 maps all within the same world. Again, this is entirely wishful thinking, but then again, so is everything else I've said so far. But that's exactly what this video has been about. Now then, since I've finally gone over everything I wanted to go over, let's go ahead and finish this video off. As of the time of recording this final portion of the video, Rockstar Games has released a price tag for GTA 6 and has unveiled even more details about the game than what we've already seen in the first trailers and in the leaks from a few years ago. So if anything I've talked about today has been confirmed or contradicted by any of this new information, then it is what it is. And again, if anything else comes out that makes parts of this video irrelevant, then, you know, it is what it is. But nevertheless, I just wanted to share with you guys a few of the things that I just couldn't stop thinking about as we get closer and closer to the day that GTA 6 actually releases, which once again, I fucking called it. So now that I've spent the past however many minutes this video has ended up being telling you why, I now want to hear back from all of you. I want you to tell me what else you'd like to see in the new game, and I also want you to tell me if there's anything that I've talked about that you'd either like to change, or you'd rather it not be included at all. Please, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're there, let me know what you thought of today's video. I know it's been a while since I've posted anything, and in case you're wondering why that is, I made a video a few months ago explaining my absence, so if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go watch it. Either way, I'm glad I was able to find enough free time to make this video at least, but don't mistake this for a comeback. I don't know when I'll be able to make another video, so just enjoy this while you can. Speaking of enjoying though, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on it. I doubt I'll be able to capitalize off of any algorithmic boost it would give, but leaving that like could help me reach some more people, which could lead me to having more comments to read, which would make me happy. So if you want to make me happy, then leave a like on the video. Ah yes, transitivity. Oh, or if you didn't like the video, still leave a like anyway, or else no GTA 6 for you. Sorry, I don't make the rules. And if you have some friends who you think might enjoy this, go ahead and share it with them. Lastly, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video 8 months from now. Although, with that being said, I do have plans to stream the new GTA 5 Kortz Center heist right here on YouTube when it comes out. So, assuming this video releases before then, be on the lookout for that live stream. If it goes well and I get a few of you watching, I might just start broadcasting consistently on here to keep in touch with you guys. So make sure you stop by if you want to see more of me. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, this is your boy Doug the Dog 6, and I'm signing off. Have a great summer, everybody.